So after a crazy week, the Eagles, who as about a month and a half ago were 3-6, are now squarely in the playoff mix. You see it right there. They don't have the tiebreaker, but they are tied with all these other teams in there at 7-7, and they have a really good chance. And so let's bring it out. There's a lot to talk about coming out of this game. But Kimberly Martin, I'll start with the first thing. You know what a playoff team looks like. Are the Eagles
After
one?
years of covering the Jets. Yeah, because of the rest of the division. At first, I feel like I want to apologize to the Eagles fans because a few weeks ago on this show, I did say I don't see the Eagles making the playoffs. I did not foresee the rest of the NFC being a mess. So technically, you guys still have a chance. But when I watched this Eagles team beat up on Washington, this is a Washington team that didn't have anybody.
No.
They literally had no coaches, no players. So I'm excited that they won, right? But at the end of the day, is this an Eagles team that you feel like Jalen Hurts has solidified himself as a starter? No, I think this is a team that's going to be looking at QBs in the offseason. So I don't know what they're building, so it's hard for me to get fully on board with the Eagles. What, Domonique?
What is it, Domonique?
It was the worst apology ever. He's like, I want to apologize to the Eagles fans because I didn't know that everyone else was going to be worse than you guys are. And you started blaming it. Like, I think the Eagles played really well last night. They played against a professional football team, a team that's name is the football team. So understand that there were some injuries and there were some COVID issues, so they weren't at full strength. But the Eagles dominated that game. Some early turnovers, some of it is about luck, but throughout the course of that game, they dominated. And I know Jalen Hurts, with 3 first-round picks, they're probably going to draft another quarterback, but he deserves some credit. He's Lamar-like. They built the game plan around his ability to run. He's not as dynamic as Lamar, but you have to give them some credit. That offensive line plays well. They run the ball well, and Jalen Hurts is not going to pick you apart from the pocket. But throughout the course of his very young career, he's been effective, a very effective quarterback, which is more than what you can say for a lot of teams, especially teams in that division. So I think that the Eagles deserve some credit, and they could be some trouble in the playoffs with their ability to run the ball and protect the quarterback.
They could be some trouble in the playoffs. You literally just said what I said. You have no conviction either because of the division. Yes, they deserve credit because they beat another football team. Yes, every win is important, but at the end of the day, these are the facts. We don't know if Jalen Hurts is the answer. I hope he is for the Eagles fans because they need an answer at QB, a solidified answer. But you yourself are saying, I don't know, they may draft a quarterback. Okay. So we're saying the same thing.
Let me get Hasselbeck in the midst of this squabble here. It does seem to me that we're dealing with 2 separate questions. Let's start with the second one first, Tim. As you watch Jalen Hurts and his development, he obviously does some things extremely well, and he doesn't have the greatest supporting cast around him.
You know, that doesn't take away from, the truth and the fact that he played great last night, and that, to Domonique's point, Philadelphia has done a good job building what they currently are doing around him. I mean, they are, whether people want to say it or not, they are an option football team. Like, they do have other good traditional runs, but they run the option essentially. I mean, they must have called the same play like 6 different times last night, where it is today's version of the triple option, and he is excellent at doing it. And then because he passed the ball well last night, it's like, wow, this looks like it could be hard to defend. The big issue with Hurts going forward is what we saw from him as a passer last night is not what we've consistently seen from him as a passer, which is why I think they're going a different direction in the future.
It'll be interesting to watch. When you consider how little experience he has still, I mean, because he didn't start starting until near the end of last season. You look at the supporting cast, the change in coaches and everything else. Yes. I think he's, all things considered, pretty good. And if we could just very quickly point out again, that schedule the Eagles have remaining, that last game against Dallas,
the schedule you want.
It's overwhelmingly likely the Cowboys will have nothing to play for. So you may not see any of the Cowboys in that game. The Eagles have an excellent chance to win out and get into the playoffs. We'll come back to them.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.